This is Newcap News with Brian Lentz.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Invictus Games are fast approaching. Held from September 23rd to 30th in Toronto, it's an international competition for those in the military who are ill, wounded and injured, started in 2014 by Prince Harry. In support of this event, various locations across Canada are hosting a flag relay and ceremony, and Four Wing Cold Lake happens to be one of the few selected stops. Nicole Stilger has more on the huge display of support for not only the games, but the athlete from Four Wing who will be competing.
Wow, Cold Lake, we rock!
It's a proud day at Four Wing as the national flag tour for the Invictus Games marches through the base. But that's not the only cause for celebration. One of their own is competing in the 8-day event.
It's an honor. I'm very proud of it. I cannot imagine it would be turning so good. It's amazing. Like, it's just me!
Representing Canada and Four Wing is aviator Martine Duval. She has served in the military since 2010. It was only a year later when she was injured.
I fall during an exercise. I fall on both my knees. They repaired a meniscus. It was broken everywhere, but now it's nothing else I can do. I have difficulty walking long distance.
Duval applied to the Games through Soldier On, a Canadian Armed Forces program that helps military members and veterans overcome their physical or mental health, illness or injury through physical activity and sport. And out of about 500 applicants, she was among those selected. This year's Invictus Games features 550 athletes from 17 nations. 90 of these athletes are from Canada, competing in 12 adaptive sports. And one of those sports is golf, which is what Duval will be competing in.
I practice every day. I go there, and it's a sport I can do even with my knees.
Starting in Comox, BC just last week, this is the second stop on the 38-day cross-country tour and the first stop in Alberta. The showing of support only reinforcing just how much everyone is behind her.
The largest turnout we've had so far. It's incredible to see the parade of men and women serving our country.
It's a tremendous sense of pride for us here at Cold Lake to be able to be out and support her today, and I think the size of the crowd that we had shows how proud we are of her.
I'm not surprised. I mean, Cold Lake is really supportive of the military. It's a huge part of our population here. Over 2,000 people work here on the base, but we're a patriotic community.
As for Duval, with less than a month left to go and the excitement only building, this is what keeps her motivated.
We're gonna have our name on the board there. I'm gonna try my best to have a medal.
Nicole Stilger, Newcap News, Four Wing Cold Lake.
And rural communities in the Midwest are battling with something more sinister than a drive through the countryside, even as Saskatchewan is rolling out a rural crime plan. Gerard Lampo tells us how one community is fighting back.
Oh, the crime situation is brutal.
When people leave their yards and go to work, their yards are vacant for 8 to 10 hours a day, and they're coming home and finding people have been breaking in.
A recent visit to the R-M of Britannia started off with a conversation about canola and switched to how the community, which is serviced by the Maidstone Detachment, has been rallying in the face of break-and-enters. With areas like 4 Mile Road being ground zero, residents feel that crime is up. But what do the numbers say?
Well, us people feel that, but with the meetings we had 2 months ago with the RCMP, from their report said it's about on par from last year.
This week, the province announced measures to beef up security to rural areas. In Britannia, so far this year, there have been 20 break-and-enters compared to just 13 last year. Maidstone RCMP say the majority of service calls comes from 4 Mile Road, the biggest increase being stolen or abandoned vehicles from the Lloydminster area. But increasingly, these are also coming from Regina and Edmonton regions.
Comparing this year to last year, break-and-enters total 54 to 51. 24 of those last year were residential, while so far this year, that number is at 19. 14 businesses were targeted last year compared to 16 so far this year. Total vehicle thefts for 2016 was 35. That number is up to 65 so far in 2017. Possession of stolen property under $5,000 is up from 15 to 20. Possession of stolen property over $5,000 is up from 11 to 42. Assaults are 41 to 38 and harassment 36 compared to 21 so far this year. Light says bandits are targeting vehicles, quads, tools, anything they can turn into quick cash. Regardless of the numbers, for Kaikinger, who has been a victim of crime and had stolen property stored in her quarter section, feelings of being violated remain.
There's vehicles going missing at least every other day. The break-and-enters they've almost probably doubled in our area.
The R-Ms of Eldon, Payton and Britannia have contracted an officer from the Maidstone RCMP to service their communities. The police have been out to town hall meetings in the various communities, and as residents come together, there's a sense of taking back their space.
They were good. They were good informational meetings for all the people that attended, and the police were quite supportive of it and kind of gave them ideas of what they can do to help prevent stuff.
Kaikinger relates one incident this summer where the community effort is giving the RCMP a leg up.
By the time it was all said and done, the RCMP actually caught them as they were coming out of the bush because they had phoned somebody to come pick them up. So it's helping.
But as communities help themselves, the gloom of the illicit drug economy and the opioid crisis needs to be addressed, since this is arguably the bigger picture that fuels break and enters.
Nothing is going to get any better if we don't step up as a community and neighbors to say enough is enough.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
And the border city will have 2 representatives at this year's Achievement in Business Excellence Awards in Saskatoon. It isn't the first time either of the members have been nominated, but it hasn't changed how they feel about what it represents for them and their city. Josh Ryan has more.
Lloydminster is well represented at the Abe X Awards once again, with Jill Kelly of Red Bicycle Communications in the Young Entrepreneur category and the Lloydminster and District Co-op in the Community Involvement Award category.
It is so great to have Lloydminster businesses being seen on a provincial stage of exceptional businesses.
Kelly is nominated for the 3rd straight year and is still humbled by both the recognition and support she's received.
Since being nominated, we've gotten several phone calls and emails and just well wishes from supporters and random people, which is wonderful.
Lloyd Co-op has made several appearances to these awards in the past decade, and CEO Don Stevenson recognizes the role the community plays.
It requires support of our, organization, and it certainly still requires a great deal of work and effort for the countless volunteers that make those NPOs and charitable groups operate.
The event's attendance alone has its benefits, from networking with other businesses to further exposure.
Just looking at other businesses' successes and pitfalls and trying to dodge them on my end, or at least be prepared for when those do happen, some you just can't avoid.
You get a lot of great marketing and PR. It shows the community, it shows the entire province that they're a hardworking business.
And while Stevenson appreciates the honor, he says that doesn't affect their community work in any way.
This recognition, certainly is, validation to us of the work we do, and it's nice. But at the end of the day, it's we do what we do because it's the right thing to do.
Josh Ryan, Newcap News.
Well, the St. Walburg Blueberry Festival and the Trans-Canada Trail Celebration are just 2 of the events planned for this weekend. Heather Clagus has the details in this week's edition of What's Happening.
This weekend, the place to be is St. Walburg as they host their annual Wild Blueberry Festival. And if you want to get there to buy some wild blueberries, make sure you're there bright and early because they only have so many, and once they're gone, that's it. And tomorrow morning, they kick things off with a pancake breakfast starting at 8 a.m. Then at 9 o'clock, that's when the festival really gets into full swing. And they've got so many different things planned. They've got kids' entertainment. They're going to have a special tea. They've got an art show and sale, car show and shine, and also a few demonstrations, including a blacksmith demonstration. So lots to do if you head for St. Walburg tomorrow. Tomorrow, there's celebrations taking place on the Great Trail right across this beautiful country of ours in celebration of the Trans-Canada Trail and Canada's 150th. And one of them is taking place just south of Turtleford. At 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, that's when the party begins. They've got lots of entertainment lined up for the kids. There's going to be a chance for you to enjoy some delicious cake and also take a bit of a stroll on the trail as well. So just head south of Turtleford on Range Road 3210. This weekend, we want you to win a copy of Josh Turner's latest album, Deep South. This man with the deep voice has got some great songs on this one, including Hometown Girl and Lay Low. The title track's a great song too, and also his new single, All About You. If you want to win a copy, it's really easy. All you have to do is email your name and daytime phone number to tvcontests@newcap.ca. We want to say thanks to John at Universal Music Canada for setting us up with the music. And if you want to check out some great country music tomorrow night, head for VegFest in Vegreville. Aaron Pritchett's going to be there opening up for John Michael Montgomery. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Clegus, and that's what's happening.